Hey, all right. Welcome to today's Q&A. All right, shall we get going? My name is Jessie. I'm with Decker Truckline, and we go live every Tuesday at noon Central here on our YouTube channel to answer questions, fill you in on what's new at Decker, keep you up to date on changes and that may or may not be, right? All right, as always, if you have any questions or if you just want to shout out and say hello, please use the chat feature. And if you have a question you're wondering about a specific position, please ask about that specific position, or if you want to include your zip code and the amount of experience you have, that would be very helpful for me. And then I can be even more specific on what we do or don't have out of your area. And as always, the telephone number that's flying across the screen here, 877-433-2537. That number goes directly to our recruiting department, so you can speak to them. And then you can also apply online at drivedecker.com. So for those of you who are new to the Decker Live Q&As, welcome. And to those of you who are the Decker family and you who have been watching for quite some time, thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining us. All right, this week has got a few activities. Tomorrow, along with, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's the 16th. Yes. Okay, I had to make sure I was on the right day. Tomorrow, Lyle Turville, one of our professional drivers out of Montana, is going to be competing in his third National Truck Driving Championship. So representing Decker for the third time. This time, he'll be representing in the sleeper berth competition, or in the sleeper berth division, which consists of three different competitions. You have the obstacle course, which you guys are all more familiar with probably, because that's something you can actually watch. You've got the inspection, the pre-trip inspection is the second one, and then the first one is the actual book test. So it's the paper test that they'll go through, and I want to say it's like an hour and a half or so, or it can be. They've got that much time to do it. So the National Truck Driving Championships, in order to be there, you first have to be nominated by your company to participate in the local state level truck driving championships. And then you have to place first. You have to be the champion in order to go on to the next level. And you can only you can only win the champion position one time in that division. And then of course you can go on to compete in the truck driving championships. There's 9 different divisions that are there. And again, this is Lyle's third different division, of course. And he comes with, and I forgot to grab it again. He'll go with a coin, because all 50 participants, so it's 50 states, all 50 participants will be bringing a coin representing their state, and in this case, the sleeper berth, and they'll trade with other competitors in that specific division so that they can, it's just a memorabilia, it's pretty cool. What they need is to provide those coin boxes. Do they? Because I didn't see those. The coin books, they need to provide those too, right? We'll have to keep that in mind. So let's cheer on Lyle as he goes to participate in the National Truck Driving Championships starting tomorrow. So it's a 3-day event, and it is in Columbus, Ohio. So who's here with me today? Hey, Katie in Fort Dodge. Mr. Peter Belk, how are ya? It's good to see ya. Wait until the 21st, huh? What's going on then? All right, so we have the Nationals, but what else is coming up? We also have the Brake Safety Week that will be coming up this coming Monday till Saturday the 26th. So the 20th through the 26th. Yeah. I'm looking at my calendar. That will be the National Brake Safety Week. So basically what Brake Safety Week is it's just, as always, you'll have the safety stations, you'll have the weigh stations, the inspectors coming in and taking a look, going through your vehicle, as always. However, tractor and trailer, they will report on brake-specific concerns. Brake Safety Week is an annual event in August, and the focus is on all the components of the brake system. ABS, any hoses that might be cracked or frayed, ripped, whatever, even the seals in areas. I mean, if there's any leaks, if you hear any air, any additional air leaks as well. So those are all things that are factored in on the brake maintenance of the tractors. So tractors and trailers. So if you have any issues, as always, you should be doing your pre-trip and your post-trip. If you aren't doing your post-trip, I highly suggest you start doing that. Mostly because, I mean, obviously it's preventive maintenance, right? But if you're doing your post-trip, then you can take care of issues that you might find in your post-trip before your day starts, your next day starts, which means it won't put you behind, or it's less likely to put you behind, at least. And those things can be taken care of while you're on your break. So it's just a lot less stressful for you if you take the time to do not only your pre-trip, but your post-trip as well. And, you know, if you're waking up in the wee hours of the morning to get going, and you've got to do your pre-trip. Who knows what may have happened while you were on your 10-hour. But if you do your post-trip when you first get off the load, or maybe off the run, or maybe done for the day, whatever the situation is, but if you've done your post-trip, then you know if there is a concern, if it happened between time A and time B, or are you looking a full 24 hours back? So that could help you pinpoint when something happened, if damage was done to the truck that you were previously unaware of. So anyways, please be well aware of the inspectors that are out there. Be courteous. They're doing their job just like we are. And I do ask that you be as kind to them as possible, recognizing that they're doing all they can to keep everybody safe. With the Brake Safety Week, the reason it is an annual event is because brake safety is one of the highest concerns that are out there, because it can lead, just like speeding, can lead to many fatalities, many injuries. And by implementing the Brake Safety Week, it has reduced the number of fatalities out on the road from 2008 to now when it started. So yes, we will be recognizing Brake Safety Week from the 20th through the 26th. So again, a couple of things to remember, and if you have checked out our Inside the Triangle newsletter, shout out to Katie and Tammy for getting that out, then the Inside the Triangle newsletter will give you kind of a checklist of some of the things that they do inspect for missing, non-functional, loose, cracked parts, anything like that, contaminated, worn, cracked, missing linings or the pads. Check for the S-cam flip over. Listen for audible leaks. I mentioned that earlier as well, especially around the brake components and the lines. Check the slack adjusters, that they're the same length from the center of the S-cam to the center of the clevis pin. And the air chambers on each axle. Make sure that they are all the same, or that they are both the same. Ensure the brake system maintains air pressure between 90 and 100 psi, and that measures the push rod travel. Inspect for non-manufactured holes, like rusty holes, holes that were created by friction or rubbing together, broken springs in the spring brake housing section of the parking brake, and inspect the required brake system warning devices, such as the ABS or the anti-lock braking system, the malfunction lamps, and low pressure warning devices. Inspect the tractor protection system, including the bleed back system on the trailer, and ensure the breakaway system is operable on the trailer as well. There's a few things to be looking forward to during the Brake Safety Week. That is coming up starting on Sunday, the 20th of August. So, all right, same type of thing though. They will continue to do the full inspection. Don't assume that they're only looking at brakes. They will be reporting the brakes, but they're looking at everything just as they have in the past. So please be aware of that. Don't underestimate that. All right. Now, let's, as a reminder for all of our professional drivers here at Decker Truck Line, we have changed our scanning due date from, or cutoff date for payroll to Tuesday night. So if you could just remember that Tuesday night is the cutoff. As long as you've completed the load, please get your paperwork scanned in as soon as possible. I do recognize that the cutoff is on Tuesday night, but payroll is Friday morning, and you're receiving a notification from payroll what to expect on your check, or as your check, on Thursday afternoon. So really, they only have a day to get everything in that isn't in by Tuesday night. It's not leaving them a whole lot of time in the payroll department, and we want to make sure that everything is accurate. So the best way to do that is if you allow them the time by getting the paperwork in as soon as possible. That would be ideal. And we have to make sure that all the paperwork is in. We have the Transfo Geotab units in the truck, so you can just take a picture of it. Make sure you have at least one signature on that paperwork. You don't have to have a signature on every page, but you do need to have it on one page of the billing. Okay? Orientation for Decker. Good, Peter, good. How does Decker pay for orientation? Millennium Fitness. So Decker pays for orientation. Depends on if you're an experienced driver or not, on whether or not you get a sign-on bonus, which is separate from orientation pay, but it does kind of go hand in hand with it at the same time. So for orientation only, answering that question, for orientation only, you get paid $500 for completing orientation. If you are a student, then you would be required to do a week-long orientation. Again, it's $500 for completing orientation, and then you will get that there as soon as you've completed orientation. So it'll be on your first settlement. And then as an experienced driver, someone with 6+ months of experience, then you will get, again, $500 paid to you for completing orientation. You'll get that after orientation. And then you'll only have a 3-day orientation instead of a full week. So you have a 3-day orientation instead. Let's actually talk about orientation and what to expect on that. Orientation itself, being, like I said, for an experienced driver, is just 3 days long. But you're coming to orientation with a completed, up-to-date physical and of course a completed and up-to-date negative drug test, urinalysis, and then onboarding. You would have completed, or before you come to orientation, you'll have completed. The struggle is real, you guys. You'll have completed the online orientation. Thank you to Katie for getting me our booklet, which is what you will receive in orientation itself. Thank you for getting me a copy of that, the updated one. But you'll receive that, and then you'll do additional training in orientation as well. We also, when you come into orientation, you'll also do a hair follicle test in addition to the urinalysis and the physical that you completed prior to coming to orientation. So let's back up one more time and just make sure that that's clear. You'll work with your driver recruiter to make sure that your physical is up to date. Now, if you have an up-to-date physical, and it's good for at least 6 more months, and we have the long form, because we'll have to have the long form, of course, then we can use that one. If it's only good for a month or two, and you've only had it for a month or two or something like that, then we'll need to get a new physical for you. So we'll get that physical. We'll work to get that arranged for you so that you don't have to figure that part out. And at the same time, we'll get your urinalysis out of the way. So those are the 2 things that the recruiter will work with you to get done prior to orientation. The third thing is the online orientation. They're going to send you a link, and this is after the whole approval process, because obviously we want to make sure that you got approved before coming to orientation and going through all of those things prior to orientation as well. So you'll have that link that the recruiters will give you, and you'll go through that Luma training. And I call it Luma because that's the platform that we're using. You'll get a link that says eNugget Learning, and it'll be a Decker link. You'll sign in. They'll give you that login information. You'll sign in, and you'll go through it. Now, the actual training consists of usually a video followed by a couple of questions, and then another video followed by a couple of questions, And you'll repeat that process until you're through all of that training. We've got a flatbed specific training and we've got a refrigerated specific training. So some of that's going to overlap a little bit, but you'll recognize if you're a flatbed driver or a refrigerated driver, which one would be relevant to you. And then when you come into orientation, on your way here, we'll take care of either your rental car or a flight, depending on where you're coming from. We'll take care of your transportation. If you're doing a rental car, we not only will get that scheduled for you and make the arrangements so that you can go pick it up, but we will also pay for the gas to get you here. So all that information will be provided to you by your recruiter so that you've got that system down before you come aboard. We'll give you the telephone number to call for gas. We'll make sure that you have a hotel set up for you once you come here to Fort Dodge. So we've got a hotel room for you, and we're not shacking you up with anybody. These are solo hotel rooms. So they're nice rooms. You've got a good breakfast. And then when you are ready for orientation, we will come and get you and bring you to orientation Monday morning. By the way, orientation starts on Mondays. And we'll start over, grab you, bring you into orientation, get that hair follicle out of the way, get the driving tests out of the way, because those are things that you'll do once you arrive in Fort Dodge at the terminal to start orientation. You'll also meet with several of our departments, including our communications department. Katie's waving, you just can't see her. You'll meet with her, you'll meet with our recruiting department so that those introductions are made. You'll also meet with, of course, the training department who will be there to support you. Shout out to our training. They are fantastic. They are patient with some of us on the outside, and they're very supportive of us, whether they're helping us to provide training videos, helpful videos and steps on what to do next, or communicating and supporting you once you're on the road. So they do a phenomenal job, as well as after the fact, as well as in the classroom as well. So huge shout out to Elaine and Michael and Tanner and Stephen and all of them. So anyways, orientation, once we've completed that, then you will also meet with the maintenance department. And that notebook that I shared with you earlier, a lot of that information is also in here on some of the tips and stuff. I literally just got this about 10 minutes ago, Katie, so thank you. But a lot of that information is right there in that book so that you can kind of follow along. It's very helpful when it comes to the maintenance because our equipment is top of the line. And probably the reason you are looking at Decker to begin with is because you saw our equipment somewhere and you're like, dang, that is sharp. Oh man, those look nice. So odds are that's something that probably attracted you originally. And keeping the maintenance and keeping those trucks in good working order, obviously, is vital to your job. So we want to make sure that if you have questions on the maintenance side, not only do you have the 24/7 maintenance support, the number that you can call, you've got that support with you no matter what, but you also have some resources to use either through our YouTube channel here with some of the videos that we offer. For example, the APU video that shows you how to troubleshoot that or get that working if you're having any issues. Some of the clean the fuel filter, if you're having any issues with that, some things to test and whatnot. But our maintenance staff is extremely supportive. They do a phenomenal job of taking care of you. You've got Tyson and Matt that are always there answering my questions. So I'm sure they're there doing the same for you, along with several of the rest of the crew, right? Kyle and Liam and Ken and everybody. So yeah, quite a few taking care of you. So anyways, you'll meet with all of these different departments. You'll also meet, I think I mentioned the communication crew. You'll also meet with some of the management as well as your driver manager to kind of get to know each other, make sure that what you're expecting and what we're being able to offer is continuing to stay in alignment throughout the process, the recruiting process, the hiring and orientation process, and then of course the running process once you're working hand in hand with your driver manager. If you have any questions whatsoever, initially reach out to your recruiter. And again, that number is 877-433-2537, But once you're hired on, you'll have your driver manager that you'll be able to reach out directly to, as well as your ART, your ambassador. Everybody is assigned an ambassador when you come aboard to kind of help the transition into the Decker family. So getting to know some of our policies and procedures is, obviously part of the orientation process, but that doesn't mean that with all that information that you received during orientation, you might not have retained 100%. I mean, odds are you don't. So never fear, your ambassador is there to help you along the way, answering questions such as the scorecard. What is the scorecard? How often does it pay? How do I get my benefits? What do I do about my benefits? Who do I contact? When do they start? How much are they? Those are type of things that you can ask your ambassador. Also, when is the cutoff? Tuesday night. When it comes to benefits start after 60 days. It's a 80-20 plan, and it's Blue Cross Blue Shield. We have a 50% match on the 401k, and we have company paid life insurance, paid vacation. You can, of course, increase your life insurance and some of the additional insurance policies, depending on what level you want to be at there. Short-term, long-term, critical illness. I mean, there's quite a bit that you can dive into and take advantage of if you need to be. Let's avoid the life insurance whenever possible. But and our EAP program is extremely thorough. Please take advantage of that EAP program whenever. It does offer some counseling sessions. It offers some great resources when it comes to estate planning or childcare support questions. Among 100 different things, there's quite a bit to it. But check out those resources. It's an EAP program that we can send you more information on as well. What else can I tell you? So that the orientation, insurance, and everything, insurance starts after 60 days, and other benefits like the 401k still after 60 days. I hit briefly on the sign-on bonus, but the sign-on bonus changes, depending, like we recently changed the sign-on bonus. So it does pay out on 30, 90, and 180 days. So 30, 60, first dispatch, and then 60, 180, 60, 90, and 180 days. So it pays $500 at each of those increments. One more time. First dispatch, 60, 90, and 180 days. So it's a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Currently, it is only available to our two experienced drivers, so who are starting orientation. James says or asks, what's the percentage of drop and hook for reefer and how much night driving is it? The night driving is or can be very common. If you're looking to avoid night driving, probably not a good fit because we do a lot of that refrigerated, like the meat, produce, where it'll be loaded at night and then you're taken off. A lot of our drivers do choose to just drive at night. But whether you're driving at night the majority of the time or if you're picking up at night, either one, it's pretty common. I'm not sure I can give you a percentage on the nighttime driving because everybody's a little bit different. Some people will flat out drive 90+% of the time at night because that's their preference, and the freight does allow for that. Others, aren't as much of a night owl. They'll pick up and then they'll drive, once they've had their 10. So, but that can vary too. That can throw your clock off a bit too. James, I honestly couldn't give you a percentage of the night driving, but I can guarantee that it is going to be there. So I'm going to say 50%, but I'm guesstimating. The percentage of drop and hook, about 60% on the refrigerated side. We do some live loads, unloads, especially up in the Northwest with produce. Some of those are going to be live. And we do have some multiple drop situations as well. So that is actually a little bit more common right now coming out of the pandemic than it was definitely during the pandemic or just before. So we are seeing a little bit of an increase on the multi-stop loads, but we're still, that's just something that the customers have kind of adjusted to with how the economy has changed from during the pandemic and prior to the pandemic, that they've included multiple stops where we weren't doing a whole lot of them before. So that'll be a little bit different. But the percentage of drop and hook is about 60. Virginia, hello from the Missoula terminal. Hello, hello. Beautiful Missoula, Montana. Excellent. Okay, so cool. James, if you have more questions on that, hit me up, would you? But yes, hopefully those answered your questions. When it comes to the refrigerated, so since we're kind of talking about the refrigerated division, yes, Missoula, Montana is one of our refrigerated terminals. We have Fort Dodge, Iowa, which is our main terminal, and then we have a terminal in Missoula, Montana. We have one in Hammond, Indiana. We have a shop in Des Moines, Iowa, and Sperry in Minneapolis as well. And then our flatbed terminal is in Bessemer, Alabama. So we have one. We have one there too. So yes, but with refrigerated, for the most part, it's over the road for most cases. We have quite a bit of home every 7-day options. We have every 10-day options. And in a few areas, we also have 5 days out at a time and home for 2 days. We have a minimum pay that you can expect from week to week. So you've got that, I call it a safety net, but you've got that safety net from week to week. When I know a lot of you, especially experienced drivers, are used to mileage pay. Mileage and only mileage. If I don't get the miles, I don't get anything. That isn't the case. We still pay mileage pay, but we have that safety net. So if for some reason, whether it be weather or breakdown or several other options, you have that safety net where you're still going to make a minimum amount. If you're out 5 days, and this is the refrigerated division, if you're out 5 days and home for 2, you won't make less than $700 a week. You're still getting home weekly. I can't guarantee that it's necessarily on the weekend for the refrigerated, but you're still getting home on a weekly basis, and you're guaranteed at least $700 a week. Now, if you're out 7 days at a week or at a time and then home for 2 days, then you're guaranteed a minimum of $1,000 a week. And again, I can't guarantee that your home time is on the weekend in the refrigerated division, but we do try to straddle some of that for you so that you can take advantage of that. With 10 days out or 11 days out, home for 2 to 3 days, then you're looking at a minimum of $1,000 a week. If you're out 2 to 3 weeks at a time, you're looking at 3 to 4 days home, like for instance, Missoula, Montana, or if you're out of Seattle or Spokane or Portland area, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City area, we can get you home every 2 to 3 weeks. You're guaranteed at least $1,000 a week, and your rate of pay per mile, should note, your rate of pay per mile and the number of miles that you run can definitely exceed that minimum pay. That minimum is just a safety net. You need to make sure that you're available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals, no driver service failures, so no late loads, no CSA violations for the week, and no preventable accidents for the week. And get your paperwork in on time. Paperwork must be in by Tuesday night. Ideally, right after the load, just like we were talking about earlier. Make it easy on payroll. Make them your friends. Just kidding. But yeah, make it easy on them. So that's the minimum pay. Those are the minimum pay requirements. And that's how minimum pay works. You've got that safety net, but you can definitely make more than that on a weekly basis. So you're going to make the better of the two, whatever that is. Basically what happens is if for some reason you didn't get the miles that would have gotten you that, above 1,000, then Decker pays you the difference so that you've got that every single week. You can count on it. It is something you can budget. So that makes life a little easier for you, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Flatbed, we can usually get you home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, and then back out either Sunday night or a Monday morning for the home weekly options. For those who are over the road and out 2 weeks at a time or home every other weekend, then yeah, you're going to have a little bit more variable there. But flatbed usually is, on a Saturday morning or a Friday night and then back out Sunday night or Monday morning, usually for an early Monday morning delivery, right? All right, so there's that. When it comes to the equipment itself, well, before I even get to that, the minimum pay for flatbed depends on which area you're running and the home time. So very similar to the refrigerated, where your home time and the areas that you're running and how long you're going to be out will determine your guaranteed minimum, that safety net that I was talking about, right? Your rate of pay per mile is actually based on your experience level. So someone with 10 years of experience in the refrigerated side is going to get 65 cents a mile. You'll get 10 cents of that is per diem, so you're not taxed on it. You'll get a penny raise after 90 days. You'll get a penny raise every year on your anniversary, and then the cap is 70. Now in the flatbed division, if you have 16, 17 years of experience, you'll be starting at 70 cents a mile. 10 cents of that's per diem, so you're not taxed on that 10 cents. And again, the cap is currently at that 70 cents per mile. Now, if you have 5-6 years of experience, you start with your rate of pay per mile, and you'll get a penny raise after 90 days, and then every year on your anniversary as well. Again, the cap on that is 70 cents a mile. So if you had, 5-6 years, you're looking at about 64 cents a mile to start off with. 10 cents of that being per diem. And then as an experienced driver, you have that $2,000 sign-on bonus that would be currently available to you as well. Equipment. We are mostly automatics, mostly 579 Peterbilts. We have a few Volvos, 740s for flatbed, 780s, 860s, and 760s for the refrigerated division for Volvos, and a few Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. But again, the majority are the 579 Peterbilts. If you're seeing the 389 Peterbilts, just know that those are usually assigned to our veteran drivers, so they've spec'd those trucks a little bit. And yes, those, for the most part, those are manual transmissions, but most of our trucks are the 579 automatics. All of our trucks are very well equipped with APUs and refrigerators and microwaves, inverters of course. They're double bunk trucks. They have CB units on the trucks. We have air ride seats, not only just the driver's side, but the passenger side as well. And all kinds of amenities, the Best Pass, the DriveWise, the Lytics system. So tons of amenities in the truck. Trying to think, I think I said bunk heater, which nobody probably listened to because it's 100 degrees outside, but we do have all those amenities you can think of. Free Wi-Fi. We have Epic View, which is satellite TV. That's company paid. Speaking of, I do want to take a moment to kind of talk about Epic View. This was a question that I've gotten for the last few months, and I have a better, more solid answer for you. A few months ago, I was asked whether or not we were going to continue to get the Sunday ticket through Epic View satellite. So Epic View is part of DirecTV, right? And Decker has had a subscription for each of our trucks, so for each of our drivers, so that you guys can enjoy that. But we know that along with the 100 plus channels that you get, Showtime, HBO, Cinemax, those are great, but most of you want that Sunday ticket, right? That NFL Sunday ticket. All right, well, we hear you. We've done some calling, and originally we had heard that we lost it. That's not the case, okay? So as I say that, I want to make sure that I run right over those words and tell you that that is not the case. I spoke to Epic View yesterday, and they called me and they said, no, you have it. What happened was that YouTube purchased the exclusive rights for the residential side. So at home, I don't know what you have at home, but on the trucks, we're part of the commercial side, and therefore it is part of Epic View. So you do not have to worry about whether or not you have it. It's still the whole 700 series. Those are the NFL Sunday Ticket. 700, 767. Anyways, there's quite a few. If you don't have a list of the channels, you can go to epicvue.com, EPICVUE.com, and take a look at the channel lineup. If you're part of the Decker family, we're going to put that on there anyway for you in the Facebook group so that you have access to it. But yes, you do have the NFL Sunday Ticket. Don't worry about that. Also, you may know this. I did not know this. But the preseason is not part of the NFL Sunday Ticket. So if you guys are already looking for that, you're going to need to do a local channel scan, not use the Epic View satellite, like the 700 series, the NFL Sunday Ticket. Like, you're not going to get preseason on that. That's what I'm telling you. The 17-18 week season you will have, but the preseason is not on there. And you can do a local channel scan. I will provide you the information on that as well. I don't think I can attach it into here. Can I? Nope, I can't. I was going to say, maybe I could. But what you can do is you can do a scan for the local channels, your NBC, your CBS, your ESPN, what am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing some. But anyways, you can do a local scan so that you can watch the games that are around you. You'll be able to do that. That's part of the smart TV that we have. And yes, there's like Netflix and Hulu, I think, and it's a smart TV, so it has all of those extra apps on it as well. And we have free Wi-Fi from the TransFlow Geotab system. So you can use that Wi-Fi to stream to your phone or to your TV. So that's an option. If you guys are having problems with it, reach out to us. We'll be able to help you. You can also go on to our YouTube channel, this channel, and we have a how-to video for connecting the Wi-Fi to your phone or your another tablet or something like that. So we have that. We have a how-to on that. Cool? Okay, cool. What am I missing? Equipment, amenities. If you have questions on any of them, you need pictures, go to our Facebook page or our YouTube. And a huge shout out, speaking of pictures, to all of our Decker family who sends in the pictures to us. They're beautiful. The trucks, of course, you see a lot of the red ones. You probably see some yellow ones too, especially in the flatbed division. But we are mostly the red trucks, the Decker Red. If you're seeing them, those most likely are pictures that our drivers have taken, because they're skilled. I tell you what, they're absolutely gorgeous pictures. And if you would like to submit your pictures to our calendar, we do a calendar every year, or have been at least for the last several. And those people who submit their pictures to the calendar, you get in, you're the winner, and then you're highlighted. So Curtis Carson, Sr., here's his picture, right outside the Decker terminal in Fort Dodge. So that's August. Yes. What do we have coming up? Should I show you or should I just wait? Ooh, Michael Dosh's picture. It's another beautiful picture. Yeah, we've got some great pictures. Anyways, those are taken by our professional drivers. So shout out to them. And if you want to submit your own pictures of the truck, the pictures for the calendar are only the truck itself. It's not, we'll take pictures of you as well. Those we can use on our social media, but for the calendar, it's just the truck or truck and terminal. So, yeah. Anyways, send it to marketing@deckermail.com, marketing@deckermail.com, or you can send it through Decker Facebook, facebook.com/DTL Inc. We'll take it there too. All right, you guys have been pretty quiet today. Or is it I just haven't let anybody ask their questions. All right, if you guys have questions and you want to speak to a recruiter directly, please reach out to them at 877-433-2537. Or you can apply online at drivedecker.com. So, don't forget that this week, tomorrow, actually, Lyle will begin the National Truck Driving Championships. Please give him a huge shout out. He deserves it. He is a wonderful guy who does a phenomenal job of driving. So he's a man of many skills, right? With 30 plus years of experience. Yes, good luck. I would also like to remind you guys a question that has come up in the Facebook group a couple of times is with the deaf in Fort Dodge. So at the Fort Dodge Fuel Island, we have the DEF nozzle. When you use that, please make sure that you are drawing it slowly. So the slow draw of the DEF nozzle will ensure that it's working. It flows a lot better. I don't know why, it just does. So don't be in a hurry. Make sure that you're taking a moment for a slower draw. Lisa said she used it the other day. She goes, it worked awesome. It was quicker than I'll get out, but she had to do the slow draw originally. So keep that in mind if you would. All right, so I just don't want you to get frustrated and be like, it's not working. Totally will work as long as you draw it slowly. All right. That's about it for me today, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Please reach out to us with any questions or concerns or whatever. And again, the number is 877-433-2537. All right. Have a wonderful